All right, welcome. I couldn't fit my response in a little comment box, so I just made a video about it because it's easier. This is, shout out to Brave187. Commented on the Claude Giroux to Boston, a trade analysis video I did a few days ago. He essentially said the only way I would take Giroux on the Bruins is if we can get Travis Sanheim at the same time. They need to fill their two major holes, a top two center and a top four left defense. Can't go into next season without a top two center or a hole on defense. He has no problem if the Bruins want to go for it all this year, but he doesn't think Giroux is the player they go after. Yes, great comment. I love this. So here's kind of the thing. If the Bruins end up making a trade with the Flyers, they're not going to get both Giroux and Sanheim. To start off, I don't think Sanheim is on the market. He's a young, responsible defenseman in Philly. He's one of their few bright spots on that team. He's 25, player they drafted. He's only one of two players that are actually a plus next to their name. Everyone else is a minus. The other player on defense being Justin Braun, who's mid-30s. But Sanheim is the real deal. He's great. He's fun to watch. He's really responsible. This would be a dream scenario if the Bruins were able to get a guy like Sanheim. I don't think that's necessarily going to happen. Again, I don't think he's on the market, but you never know. So I thought it'd be fun to kind of look into it. Just knowing Don Sweeney and the kinds of moves he's made and just kind of who he is, he's likely to go after a veteran player who has proven stats, or trade a veteran player for a pick, which he hasn't done in quite some time. And with Vladar, they only got a third round pick for Vladar, and he could be a starting goaltender in the NHL one day. So I don't know, it's kind of Don Sweeney for you. But Giroux, essentially, he's 34. His contract's up this year. His cap hit is $8.25 million. Sanheim, he signed for this season and next season at a cap hit of $4.675 million. Again, 25, drafted, young player. Really the only bright spot, not the only bright spot, but one of the only bright spots on a currently struggling Flyers team. So that's a total of $12.925 million in cap space they would need to clear or have available for these two guys, and an additional $4.675 next year. This is another reason why I think the Bruins only go after a rental player, is because of their cap situation next year. McAvoy gets a nice pay raise of like 4-point-something million. Bergeron's a free agent. You got like Vakanainen's an RFA, Zaboral's an RFA, DeBrusk's an RFA, and there's just like a couple more. A lot of these guys are going to get raises, probably not significant raises, but the Bruins are already going to be tight on cap space next season as it is. I don't know if you necessarily add a guy that has a cap hit like this. You should trade out one of their defensive players, because this is a significant upgrade for any one of those guys that has a 3x3 contract, or Grizzly. I think you keep Coyle, and I don't think anyone takes the McAvoy contract. So Bruins cap base is $5 million. It's like $5.036 million or something. So they would essentially have to shed $7.921 million of cap for this year to be able to afford Giroux and Sanheim. Doable, sure, but here's kind of what we're looking at. You probably got to trade out DeBrusk. You got to bundle that. You got to get rid of that cap some way, somehow, especially if he's requesting a trade. You're probably going to give up a first round pick, if not multiple first round picks. You're gonna have to give up a prospect, a high prospect, probably Vakanainen, maybe a Sean, probably not a Sean. He hasn't necessarily proven himself in the NHL yet. Maybe Kaiser, their goalie in the AHL, who has a lot of promise. Then what do you do to clear up that cap space? You could trade Ullmark, but then what? You're going with just Swayman, and you're bringing up Kaiser to be a backup. He's probably not ready for a backup role just yet. He's still a really young kid. He's got a lot of developing to do, and I know it's a little cut off, but I have D-men out on the bottom. And you have to bundle two D-men out. So you'd have to lose like Mike Riley and Forbert, or whoever. Everyone's got a 3x3 on this team, so it's not going to be enough just to trade DeBrusk and one defenseman to fit under the cap. You're going to have to trade two defensemen. It's like, who do you trade? Do you trade DeBrusque, defenseman, in Vakanainen? Like, that could work, but, you know, are you carrying Vakanainen? How much is he counting against the cap? And that could get kind of iffy. So I don't see the Bruins making a deal with the Flyers at this caliber. Most seasons, I wouldn't see the Bruins making a deal with the Flyers. Don Sweeney already isn't very likely to make a deal with the Flyers because there's that built-in rivalry. It's like trading the Red Sox to the Yankees or trading the Bruins to the Canadians. They happen every once in a while, but they're not usually big trades, and I don't know. I don't even know if this Giroux deal is going to happen. It's just, it fits Don Sweeney's profile very well that it is a guy he would go after, and it is a guy he would try to make it work for, even if it's just a guy that plays 30 games on the Bruins. Probably less when the trade deadline comes. Probably like 22 games or something. So I don't know. Personally, I don't think they should. I don't think they should go for Giroux. I'm fine if they want to go all in, just as you said. I'm all for that. But agreed, what you said is perfect. You can't go into next year with only one top centerman. By the way, who's an unrestricted free agent this year, and his agent just signed as the GM of the Canadiens. Bergeron's probably not going to the Canadiens, but you never know. He could decide, like, I'm going to go play in Carolina and just win another cup before I retire. I'm going to take, like, a league minimum hit. You never know. I think Bergeron's a guy for life. I do not see that happening. He probably signs for, like, $6 million for, like, 2 more years with the Bruins. But worst case scenario, if he does go, you don't have a top 2 centerman at all. It's been an issue all season. They needed depth. They need a second line center real bad. Their defense is good, but it's not great. And I think their coaching style, it kind of takes away from just how good their defense is. You know, a lot of the players are asked to jump up in the offensive zone more frequently than they might be comfortable with, and it leaves a lot of defensive holes. So I don't think their defense is as bad as people make it out to be. You don't need to go out and just get Jacob Chychrun, and all of a sudden you're going to have this great defense. I think the coaching needs to change, or something needs to change. They definitely do need at least a second pairing left-handed defenseman shot. I don't think that's as important as a second line center, but nonetheless, they're 2 major spots that the Bruins need to address. And sooner rather than later, because again, we've seen it play out this season. We're already 30 games away from the playoffs. You can't go into next season knowing this has been an issue for some time and doing nothing about it. It's unacceptable. That's not how you put together a winning franchise. You need to address it in some way, shape, or form. So that's kind of my long-winded response, rants, insight analysis, whatever you want to call it. So I don't know. I appreciate you guys watching, and I love the comments. And dude, it's just, I love hockey. It's nice. So yeah, thanks. Let me know if you got any other questions, comments, or you want me to make a video on anything or whatever it may be. Hit me up. I'm here. I like hockey. I like to talk. All right, that's it. Take care, guys.